Hello and welcome. My name is Grant Atkinson. I'm an associate reporter here at the Western Journal, filling in for Olivia Brown today here on wjlive, powered by the Western Journal. Today is Thursday, September 8th, and it's a very special day because it is the return of football. NFL football is going to be back tonight, and that actually has to tie in to our first story, which is about a high school football player named Caden Clymer. He was all set to start the season. He was ready for his football season to start, but on August 1st, he started feeling some intense pain in his legs. He ended up having to get sent to the hospital, and they found some massive blood clots in his legs. His mom said that they swelled up about 4 inches in diameter, and it was really just a crazy story as what he thought was going to be a normal football season turned into what could have been even more of a disaster. Luckily, it seems that he's going to be okay now. But we've got a clip here. We'll go ahead and show you that.
It started on August 1st. His dad took him to the emergency room. He was having severe pain in his back and legs.
I was a bit confused because I didn't know really what was happening. And he just told me that he wasn't feeling good.
The night before Wasion's first team practice, junior Caden Clymer unexpectedly had to be taken to Toledo Children's Hospital.
His calves were actually swelled up 4 inches larger in circumference than they are now. So he was very uncomfortable.
I just wanted to go home, honestly. I didn't really care what they did to me. I just wanted to go home.
Full of pain and uncertainty, Clymer received word that he had blood clots in his legs.
I was really sad. I was crying and I was upset because I've played football my whole life and I just want to play with my friends.
6 feet of blood clots were removed.
It's honestly heartbreaking to see something like this, to see a young kid who's just excited to play football. He's excited to get in there and get the season started, and then he has to go to the hospital and get these blood clots removed. Kind of just came out of the blue. It's not something he had experienced before, like his friends and his mom was saying. Sadly, this isn't really an isolated story. This is something that we've seen an increased number of cases in the past few years, or even in the past few months, mostly the last year or so. We have some clips of local news outlets kind of talking about other people who have gone through similar issues with blood clots. So we're going to go ahead and play a montage for you here. See if you notice any sort of common thread with these reports.
We are hearing from his mother. She spoke with ABC4's Nick McGurk, who joins us live just outside of Corner Canyon High School. Nick, what did she have to say?
She says her son, Everest Romney, is 6'9" tall. He's a 17-year-old, as healthy as you could ever imagine. At 6'9", he plays basketball for Corner Canyon High. So the question is this: how did someone that she says had no underlying health conditions, was extremely healthy, end up in the ICU with a number of blood clots in and around his brain? Everything we're about to tell you is based on what his mother told me over a Zoom call just minutes ago. Let's talk about the timeline here. On April 21st, 17-year-old Everest Romney got his vaccine shot. This was his first shot. The next day, he complained of a sore neck, had swelling in his neck. A few days later, Everest couldn't even move his neck because of the swelling without literally putting his hands on his cheeks or on his head to move his neck.
The COVID vaccine by Johnson & Johnson is on pause after a few rare cases of blood clots. A young woman now hospitalized in California may be such a case. 18-year-old Emma Berkey was flown from Nevada for care at Loma Linda Hospital after 3 brain surgeries for blood clots.
I don't know about you, I don't really see any common threads in those stories. It seems like 2 just completely random cases of someone who is extremely healthy with no underlying conditions just getting blood clots. It seems pretty clear that this just is something that happens in the world. I don't think we should be asking any questions. It's clearly obvious that blood clots just occur in healthy young athletes. No other reason that would happen. Our second story that we have today, Governor Ron DeSantis. So California has been going through what some may call a crisis. So they have been one of the champions of electric cars. They've been one of the champions of alternative energy, which we know has problems, such as wind and solar turbines sometimes don't generate as much power as a state may need to stay powered for all of their institutions, all the houses, everything that they have. And so we kind of knew this already. California is learning it the hard way. It's ironic because California is the same state who has put into place a rule that by 2035, all of their new cars need to be either electric or they need to be powered by hydrogen batteries. So there will be no more gas cars allowed in 2035. But at the same time, they've been coming out saying this week that they don't have a lot of power. Their power grid is very strained. And so if you could please don't charge your car during the day. If you could just charge it at night or early in the morning, go ahead and do that, because they don't have a lot of power. It's kind of the state of affairs that we're seeing across the blue states in the country, is that the government is going to tell you what to do and you are not to ask any questions about it. At the same time, California, it's struggling to even keep the lights on, keep the air conditioning on in many of its houses, many of its buildings. A lot of the politicians there have been coming at Florida, which has been one of the most successful states in the country in the past few months. Ron DeSantis, who's running for re-election there, he's the governor, actually released an ad this week of people talking about how thankful they were to him for the way that he responded to the COVID-19 pandemic, the way that he refused to shut down his economy, and the way that there are now more jobs in Florida, more people employed than there were before the pandemic. And that's thanks to Governor Ron DeSantis' incredible leadership, honestly. But California, in much worse shape, but they think that they, for some reason, have fuel to attack Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis was not going to let that go unnoticed, and so he addressed it yesterday. We're going to show you a clip here.
You hear all this stuff. I mean, I hear a lot of people chirping about Florida from like California. They're so worried about Florida, they can't even keep the power on in California. I mean, are you kidding me? Someone told me that they will be able, once all the people that want to move to Florida move out of there, then maybe they'll have adequate power. But I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so, we've been able to do that. Part of it, though, is just, we stood for people's rights, we stood for people's freedoms, and obviously the state has done very well. We have more people employed in Florida than we did prior.
Ron DeSantis is absolutely correct here. I mean, as we just discussed, California lost tons of jobs, tons of small businesses had to close because they shut down. We heard countless stories of small restaurants, small businesses having to close because California said, you can't be open, we're not going to allow people to go out. So they lost jobs. Now they have a power crisis because they've switched so quickly to this alternative energy that is not set up to run an entire state yet, and they've been moving away from gas and other oil, gas, all these kind of products that can provide energy. They've been moving away from it so quickly that they have now left themselves in a precarious position where they don't have enough power to even power most of the things in the state. They can't charge their cars. You had Governor Newsom coming out yesterday asking people to not turn on their air conditioning after 4 p.m. to save power. So what they want you to do here is they want you to sit in a hot house. They want you to not drive. They want you to do all these things in the name of climate change, in the name of, oh, you're helping the environment because you are only using alternative energy and you're not using it at peak hours because they don't have enough of it. So you just need to make all these sacrifices for the greater good, for the climate. And they're trying to point the finger at him because they can't take the truth, which is that Florida and Governor Ron DeSantis, led by Republicans, they are doing incredible. They're doing greater than any of the blue states are in this current time. And they don't really have much that they can say about that. If they were to admit the truth that Governor Ron DeSantis is a great leader, that he's got Florida in a great place, and that Florida would be better off if they did reelect him, then that would hurt all of their narratives, all of their points, which is that Republicans shouldn't be in power, that they're damaging, that they are ruining the country, they're a threat to democracy. If they were to admit the truth and say that Florida is doing as great as it is, that would be to pretty much dismantle their entire argument, dismantle their party's chances of winning a governorship in Florida. So you've got blue states and you've got Democrats, not even just in Florida, you've got Democrats from across the country trying to attack Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida. And that really shows you how scared they are of him, to me. I mean, it seems that if you are now weaponizing other states, Governor Gavin Newsom, who's on the complete opposite coast of Governor Ron DeSantis, and he's attacking Florida, he's attacking Ron DeSantis, that shows me that the Democrats are scared. They are trying to mobilize all of their forces from across the country, from 2,000, 3,000 miles away, to weaponize it against Governor Ron DeSantis because they're scared, because he is a successful politician and he is a conservative through and through. He's a Republican who many people in the party are looking up to. Many people are thinking that down the road, maybe in 2028, if it's not this upcoming election cycle, he could run for president. He's a guy who is clearly leading the Republican Party and doing a great job at it. He's the face out there. Every ad that he's put out has been incredible. All of them have gained traction. He's doing great. And so the Democrats are scared of that. They're scared of a powerful conservative Republican and the opportunity that he has to gain power. And so they're using all of their resources against him to try to take him down. It doesn't look like it's going to work, though. Ron DeSantis' results speak for themselves. Florida is doing great. He's polling pretty well. It's looking like he's going to win re-election there in Florida. And that just shows us that actions are louder than words. Democrats can try to attack him all they want, but the fact is that Ron DeSantis is doing a great job. He's becoming the face of the Republican Party, and the Democrats are not going to be able to stop that no matter how hard they try. So that's all we've got today here on WJ Live. We are going to be back next week on Monday. We've got WJ Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so that you're notified. You're never going to miss an episode of WJ Live. And if you'd like to support what we're doing here at the Western Journal, go to westernjournal.com/join. We're going to have some subscription options for you there. And that supports us so we can continue doing the journalism that we're doing. We can continue exposing the lies from people like Governor Gavin Newsom and continue telling you what a great job Governor Ron DeSantis is doing in Florida. So if you want to keep hearing those stories, you want to support what we're doing, please go there. Thanks for tuning in. Everyone have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.